Are you ready for a great adventure? Today, on The World is Yours. We begin in the Maltese Islands, where adventure is plentiful. Whether you're knee-deep in the Blue Lagoon or climbing one of the thousands of courses up a cliff face, we'll trade our Mediterranean sea ships for ancient Viking ships as we sail over to Denmark. With hundreds of islands of the most beautiful scenery our planet has to offer, the farther inland you go, the more you'll find. We'll feel small underneath massive cliffs. And finally, we'll head over to the US, where Ocean City, Maryland awaits. With a long history, this city of amusement parks, beach resorts, and water sports is the perfect escape from reality. The world is waiting, and the world is yours. Although the Maltese Islands are steeped in literature and lore, it's a real place. The paradise-like scenery that fills the coastlines and countryside have made this small corner of the world one of the most interesting. Stories from the Bible lead to this group of islands. 3 of them are inhabited islands. 2 of them, Gozo and Camino, are believed to have been the islands in Homer's Odyssey. To find out what makes it such a magical place, we have to see it for ourselves. Camino is a small island between the main island of Malta and Gozo. This little gem is hardly more than a square mile in size, but it's one of the most beautiful spots in the Mediterranean. The island's history goes back to Roman times, when farmers occupied it. Along the way, it has been abandoned and privately owned. Even the elaborate caves that fill the coastline were famous for harboring pirates in the Middle Ages. This slice of paradise is now a bird sanctuary and nature reserve. It's known for its isolation and peace. The safe haven for birds is only a part of their effort to preserve their environment. The island isn't open at night and is primarily accessible during the summer months. This maintenance aims to keep the water blue and the sand clean for many years to come. But when the summer sun is here and the cool waves offer a relief from the heat, Camino's Blue Lagoon is the perfect place to be. The gem of Camino, as this bay is called, was named after the cumin seed. The clear blue water makes it perfect for swimming or snorkeling. The water is so clear that if it were kept in a giant tank, objects would be visible up to 60 feet deep. Wow! Fortunately, it doesn't go quite that deep. You can definitely see the white sand below as you wade through the knee-high waters. After spending some time in the water, head inland to check out the most distinguished structure on Camino, St. Mary's Tower. In 1618, the Knights of Malta constructed the tower after 200 years of petitioning to build a tower for the sake of defending the island. It was placed in what is considered the exact center of the land and was included in a chain of defensive towers built across the Maltese Islands. While St. Mary's Tower is only about 39 feet tall, the square building sits on the highest point of Camino, giving it a considerable view all around. While we're at it, let's check out another part of Malta constructed for military defense. Our next stop brings us to Valletta, Malta. The Saluting Battery is an artillery battery located in Valletta, Malta. They're used by the military for better battlefield communication and command and control. Today, the fort is open to the public as a non-active battery. Daily tours are given and include an immersive look at how the fort was operated. Twice a day, there are ceremonial firings of the cannons, and on rare occasion, you may see a cruise liner fire a 6-gun salute from the water. 8 replicas of the SBBL 32-pound cannons were placed on the wall facing the sea. Through the years, the cannon has changed, but the restoration from 2011 ensured that the battery was as close to its original state as possible. A visit to the small museum inside will give you a sense of the storied history of this long-standing fortress. The saluting battery was rarely used in conflict, aside from the Great Siege of Malta. During World War II, the guns were taken from the armament of the saluting battery and used for coastal defense. Though parts of the upper garden were severely damaged during the war, it was all successfully restored. Its strategic location on the Mediterranean Sea has led to more than 10 world powers taking control of it at some point. This list includes the Greeks, Romans, French, and British. It wouldn't be until 1964 that the state of Malta would declare its independence. It would also act as a neutral place for the President of the United States and leader of the Soviet Union to have their first face-to-face conversation. It would be this conversation that would mark the end of the Cold War. All the fun in Malta isn't above water. The clear blue waters are perfect for snorkeling and swimming. But sometimes, it's good to dive in even a little deeper. Malta is home to some of the best diving sites in the world. Many travel long distances to experience this ocean oasis. Under Circua, one of the diving sites, there are a handful of boats that have remained at the bottom of the sea for years. At more than 100 feet under the surface, it feels like you're in another world. Diving near Camino, you'll also find colorful and abundant wildlife. It's especially known for having well-lit caverns. If you hope to find underwater treasure from a shipwreck, dive close to Gozo. There you will be treated by beautiful rock formations dotted with schools of fish. Malta has become a world-class location for boating. Whether your vessel has sails, oars, or engines, cruising these beautiful waters has become a major pastime of the islands. One thing is for sure, Malta is a great view from the water or from the land. These islands are understandably a traveler's favorite. But our voyage will also bring us to the cold waters that were once sailed by Vikings. But first, let's test your world knowledge. Denmark is connected to which country by a bridge? A. Japan. B. Canada. C. England. D. Sweden. The answer coming up when we return to The World Is Yours. We're back. Let's find out the answer to our question. Denmark is connected to which country by a bridge? A. Japan. B. Canada. C. England. D. Sweden. If you said D. Sweden, you're right. Denmark is made up of over 400 islands, but most of them aren't inhabited. Sweden connects to Pepper Island with a bridge that is an impressive 5 miles long. Denmark is in Scandinavia and consists of more than 400 islands. Although only 72 are inhabited, there are still over 5 million people that call it home, in a country with around 16,000 square miles and features more than 4,500 miles of coastline. This unforgettable destination is nearly twice the size of Hawaii. Before we journey into the past to sail with the Vikings, let's try another kind of adventure. Denmark is home to another piece of nature that's unlike any other. We'll have to travel to the coast to find it. The view is probably better from the water. Mons Klint is almost 4 miles of sheer cliff face. At its highest point, it drops about 400 feet down to the water. That's almost the same height as the Great Pyramid of Giza. These so-called chalk cliffs are white and reflect off the water in a beautiful green blue. The chalk is actually the remains of shells from millions of prehistoric organisms. These microscopic creatures would have lived on the seabed more than 70 million years ago. Now that's cool. The best way to see the cliffs is through the many hiking and cycling trails that wind through the park. At multiple points, they even lead to the shore. You won't be alone on this trek. Over 250,000 people visit the park every year, making it one of the most visited places in the country. All right, it's time to take a trip deep into the past of Denmark's long history. Almost 2,000 years ago, the Viking Age was coming to an end. But we're about to see what it looked like at its peak. From 793 to 1066, Denmark's fearsome Vikings ventured Europe by sea with their famously well-crafted, ornate ships. They were used for trade and raiding, making the Vikings one of history's most prolific and powerful seafarers. The history of the Vikings is much more than war, and the Danish people will be the first to help you understand that. In fact, after visiting the Viking museums throughout Denmark, you'll come to see that there's more to this culture than expected. Half an hour out of the capital, Copenhagen, we visit the town of Roskilde, where 5 Viking warships were recovered and put on display at the Viking Ship Museum. You can even get on a scaled-up version of a Viking ship and actually sail on the water. Denmark is proud of its Viking history, and a look at the culture will also inspire you. Across the country, there are burial sites, rune stones that honor their elders, and settlements that bring the ancient civilization to life. Our hunger for the true Denmark experience leads us to Copenhagen, where we will literally satisfy that hunger. Let's head to the Copenhagen Street Food Market. Food from all over the world is served here. Whether it's European, Spanish, or American, among others. The market is located right on the harbor and is perfect for a view of the sunset. It's the perfect place to find a spot near the water and have a nice meal. And like always, we have to try the traditional food of the country we're visiting, right? The Danish are proud of their tasty cuisine, and you won't regret indulging in at least a pastry or two. Wienerbrød is a sweet place to get started. This sweet cake originated in Denmark, and it's made through a complicated baking process that layers it. The idea was brought over by Austrian bakers before evolving it into Wienerbrød. Finally, while you're in Denmark, you have to try some of the authentic cheeses. There are a plethora of local cheese and dairy factories in Copenhagen. What could be better than fresh cheese straight from the factory? Try blue cheese, Danbo, or Havarti cheese alongside raw herring or fruit. Denmark has been a fantastic treat on our expedition. We sailed the seas as the Vikings did, visited the sheer cliffs of Mons Klint, and enjoyed the traditional cuisine of the land. Let's keep it moving. There are a few more things left to do. But first, let's test your world knowledge. Europeans arrived on the coast of Ocean City, Maryland, under Giovanni da Verrazzano around what year? A. 1524. B. 1800. C. 789. D. 10,000 BC. The answer coming up when we return to The World Is Yours. We're back. Let's find out the answer to our question. Europeans arrived on the coast of Ocean City, Maryland, under Giovanni da Verrazzano around what year? A. 1524. B. 1800. C. 789. D. 10,000 BC. If you said A. 1524, you're right. Ocean City has a rich history that wouldn't gain popularity until long after the British arrived in the 16th century. 200 years later, the first resort would open up with a railroad connecting it to the mainland. And Ocean City is where we continue our journey, here on the east coast of the United States, in the second smallest state, Maryland. Maryland was one of the original 13 British colonies, and it would be at the Battle of Baltimore that the famous Star-Spangled Banner would be written by Francis Scott Key. It was many years after the Revolution that Ocean City emerged as more than just the modest fishing village it had been for 2 centuries. Now it's time to get our feet wet. Pack up your sunscreen, because we're going to the beach. To get to Ocean City, you will have to drive over the Chesapeake Bay Bridge and Tunnel. As its name implies, the structure functions as both a bridge and a tunnel. It is 5 miles long and stands 186 feet tall at its highest point. After its completion in 1964, the American Society of Civil Engineers named it one of the 7 engineering wonders of the modern world. The tunnels run about a mile under the bay, allowing ships and boats to travel over them. The tunnels connect to the bridge sections via 4 man-made islands that are each as large as the football field. The depth of the water ranges from 25 to 100 feet. It takes about 10 to 15 minutes to cross it, and it is quite the experience. Ocean City Beach has about 10 miles of sandy beaches for us to enjoy. Not only is it nationally known for being a very clean beach, the 3-mile boardwalk is considered by many as one of the best in the U.S. This destination lives up to it. Trimper's Rides and Amusement Park is a local and tourist favorite. The historic park has brought thrills for over 100 years, opening their gates in 1893. Back then, it was a luxury resort called the Windsor Resort. It helped Ocean City become known as a premier vacation spot all year long. Now it's time to visit a place for adventure seekers and extreme sports lovers. Don't worry, nobody will laugh if you fall. We're going to learn how to skate at the Ocean Bowl Skate Park. This 17,000 square foot concrete-based park has something for everyone, no matter the age or the skill. Get ready to show off your expertise with skates or a skateboard. The park has different courses and an awesome 13,000 square foot innovative open concrete street course with hit walls, hips, and a small bowl. Bring your helmet and pads and get after it. Ocean City isn't even 5 square miles on land. More than 5 times that area is Ocean City's water, where an entire industry has engaged the community. We'll dive into that after a quick break. But first, let's test your world knowledge. In 1933, a powerful storm opened a new channel to the ocean, making it a prime location for what water sport? A. Sailing. B. Wave riding. C. Sport fishing. D. Scuba diving. The answer coming up when we return to The World Is Yours. We're back. Let's find out the answer to our question. In 1933, a powerful storm opened a new channel to the ocean, making it a prime location for what water sport? A. Sailing. B. Wave riding. C. Sport fishing. D. Scuba diving. If you guess C, sport fishing, you're right. The violent storm reshaped the bay to the liking of the residents, so engineers went to work and made the new channel permanent. It would only be a few years until Ocean City would be established as a top resort area on the eastern seaboard. Throughout the years, it has become one of the most popular tourist destinations in the United States. The multi-million-dollar tourism industry there has come a long way from the near-forgotten fishing village it once was. A storm changed everything. In 1933, a powerful storm literally reshaped the bay by opening another inlet that would connect the ocean to the bay. This help from Mother Nature would spark a huge market for fishing white marlin. Engineers were hired to keep the opening permanent. Tourists would begin taking trips to the beautiful bay, where sailing and yachting would become traditions. Staying on land, there are nearly 5 miles of coastline where you can enjoy the view. A historic wooden promenade is full of restaurants, shops, and fun things to do. With so much to get into, it's a good thing they no longer roll up the boardwalk in this town, as it's a top spot to visit all year round. What a jam-packed adventure that was! From the clear Blue Lagoon of Malta to the treetops of Denmark and historic amusement parks of Ocean City, we truly made the world ours. It was a lot of fun exploring these unforgettable places. And there are many more adventures ahead. Until next time, the world is waiting, and the world is yours.